One of the great things about sorting a set of data is that it's a very simple and effective means for trapping errors in the data. When you're banging data into an Excel spreadsheet, it's very easy to make mistakes. You can miss out decimal points. So I've deliberately removed the decimal point from the first item in this spreadsheet here. Or you can put a decimal point in the wrong place. So for example, instead of 51.112, I'll just take this decimal point out and I'll put it in the wrong place. So instead of 51.12, we have 511.2. It can be very difficult to trap these kind of errors. And also you may find, for example, that instead of 48.79, that you hit the comma button instead of the full stop. So you need some means for actually trapping these errors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort. I'm going to select the whole worksheet. I'm going to go to Data, Sort. I'm going to sort it by marks, just as I've done before, making sure that the header row is clicked. I click OK. And what you find is that any errors in the data will tend to be sorted towards either the bottom of the data or the top of the data. So this looks okay. There are no major problems at the bottom of the data here. If I use Control End to go to the end of the data, I'll just pull this up. So you see that the data now has leapt from 66.4, 78.57 up to 511 here. This is way out of step with everything else and should set the alarm bells ringing. Also, we have a point here. I put in a comma and it's just ignored the comma. And also here we have a value of 5.199 times this here e by plus 14. This means 5.19 multiplied by 10 to the power of 14. So there's obviously an error there, and you need to decide what to do with these particular errors here. If you're unsure about what to do with these, then you can simply delete them. Sometimes this can play havoc with your data set, particularly if you've only got a small number of data points. And then you really need to have a look at your data and have a look at this. This 511, can you go back to that individual and find out, was it really 511? Or is everything else consistent with this individual being normal and it being 51.1? Is there any chance that it could be 5.1? So you have to use a little bit of common sense. You should always try and interpret your data in terms of the underlying biological system. I don't want to hear about people who are 17 meters tall instead of 1.7 meters tall. It's a very obvious mistake, and surprisingly, very many people fail to pick up these kind of errors. One final thing that I should just talk about when I'm talking about error trapping. The vast majority of your errors are going to be sorted down towards the end of your worksheet. However, you should be wary of points at the low end as well. Sometimes you can stick in a 0 where you should just have a missing value instead. And you need to be able to interpret these in terms of the underlying system that you're looking at. It is possible for somebody to get 0 on an exam, for example. But it's not possible for somebody to be 0 meters tall. And these values will seriously screw up your data analysis. Never forget, rubbish in, rubbish out. Doesn't matter how sophisticated the package is that you're using. If you don't have a good data set to work from and there are errors in it, it's just going to seriously screw up your analysis and your whole results are going to be screwed up.